Hello everybody and welcome to this dungeon guide for the normal version of Banished Cells. My name is Geraint and I'll be your host for this guide. The Banished Cells dungeon is located in the Oridon area of the Eldmeri Dominion. The recommended level range for this dungeon is level 12 to 16. The Banished Cells dungeon features undead and deadric monsters, which means fighter skilled abilities will do massive extra damage. Please note that this dungeon guide does not include any quests that may be available or possibly altering events inside this dungeon. Also be advised that at the time of this recording all members of the dungeon guide group are of high veteran rank, so certain encounters might look easier as for a group doing this dungeon at the recommended level range. Alright, let's get started by introducing the members of my group, all of them fellow Alith members. This time I'm accompanied by Nimorea, I the Painless, and Serish. Okay, after buffing up, we engage the first trash mob groups, consisting mainly of skeletons of various archetypes. If you see healers in those groups, it's best to target them first, of course. Watch also out for red areas on the ground and try not to stand in them to avoid any extra damage. Further in, you will sooner or later reach this area, where Cellhaunter, a wraith with adds, stands in your group's way. While the tank takes care of the boss, your other group members should focus on the adds first and then concentrate on Cellhaunter. Cellhaunter will use stronger version of a normal wraith, so expect a cold damage wave spell or two during the fight. The cold wave is moving rather slowly, so ranged characters should have no problem to evade it. It's not easy to spot when he casts it, but you can see red lines around his figure when he does. The most dangerous ability is for sure, however, his channeled life drain spell, visible by a bluish beam on a random target. Your group healer has to watch out who gets affected by this beam and be ready to heal that player as it ticks pretty hard. There are no trash mob groups in the way to the second boss encounter, so you can take your time. Once your group enters this big room, several skeletons will spawn, which you have to kill. They are not part of the boss fight, so you can take your time killing them. There are two buttons on the wall in front and to the right side of the room. Once you push them, the boss encounter will start. For this guide, 2 of my group members will show you where the buttons are and push them. First, a group of Banekin will emerge in the circle. Be sure to kill them as quickly as possible, because some seconds afterwards, the boss, Geraint, will spawn. Geraint is a clan fear and the second boss. If you haven't killed the Banekins by now, the tank should taunt away Geraint to give the group more time to kill the remaining Banekin. Your group has to watch out for 3 mechanics that Geraint uses. The most dangerous one is a teleport charge ability that Dedra will use to knock down a random group member and feast on that player. If you are targeted by the teleport charge, use your break free ability as soon as possible, otherwise the feasting will do a lot of damage to you. Geraint's second mechanic is to cast a shadow clone of itself that has low health but can still be a nuisance and should be killed right away. It's about to happen shortly after Geraint channels a dark blue cloud around himself, so you can prepare for that. The second and last of Geraint's abilities is a stronger version of a normal Clan Fear's tail swipe. As you can see in our guide, it takes quite a while till the swipe actually gets used by Geraint, so be sure to move out of the area of effect. There is a reason why it takes a bit longer, as the damage inflicted is pretty high and can potentially kill party members. Other than that, there are no other special things to look out for in this fight. Geraint just uses a normal bite attack otherwise. The gate on the left side of the room is now open, and your group can move onward to the next area of the Banished Cells dungeon. Only one skeleton trash mob group needs to be eliminated, and then your group can already take on the third boss. In this small room, your group will face Angata, the Clan Fear handler, a flame sorceress Tremora type with her ads. Her basic attacks are ranged firebolts and 2 fireballs that land on the ground to build 2 flame AoE circles. The last mentioned attack is not shown in this video guide, as our group sadly killed her too fast, but be prepared for it. It's a standard flame sorcerer attack. Angata's special abilities are summoning clan fears and casting a flame wave. The clan fear mechanic is happening as soon as she starts to hunker down. The summoned clan fear uses the same skills as a regular clan fear, so watch out for the rundown ability in particular. Angata's flame wave is also easy to spot up front, with a flame ring around her feet just before the wave moves away from her. There are 2 trash mob groups blocking your way before you can engage the 4th boss of Banished Cells. Inside this room, the fight against Skeletal Destroyer, a bone colossus, takes place. While the tank gets the attention of the boss, the rest of the group takes care of the scamps. Like a regular bone colossus, this boss also summons skeletons that will explode after a while, as well as a cone-shaped heavy attack, so watch out for those. The special attack of Skeletal Destroyer is an AoE explosion that deals high damage if you keep standing in. It's looking like a circle. He will stomp on the ground just before the AoE effect hits, so that is the sign for your group to keep some distance. After defeating Skeletal Destroyer, the gate on the backside of the room to the next area opens up, and you can fight your way to the final boss area through 4 trash mob groups. If you want, you can even skip fighting the first one. Once your group moves down the stairs, you will face the last trash mob group of this dungeon, and right after defeating it, High Kin Lord Rylith will appear to start the 5th and final major battle in the Banished Cells normal dungeon. The tank should move Rylith away from his spawn point as far as possible. I will go into details why in a moment. Furthermore, it can be of a great advantage to watch what he does with his two-handed sword. All of his special attacks center on actions with his sword. One of them is a charged heavy attack on his number 1 threat target, where he raises his sword back over his head. Block this attack if you can, otherwise it will do heavy single damage. His most dangerous attack will happen after he grabs his sword with both hands, raises it up, and channeling energy visible by a blue aura beam. Once that beam vanishes again, 2 things will happen simultaneously. First, pools of blue flames will appear that deal massive damage if you stand inside them. And second, a single orb will appear on the platform where High Kin Lord Rylith spawned at the start of the fight. It will move toward Rylith and healing him if it reaches him. That's why it makes sense to move him away from his spawn area, so your group has time to kill the healing orb. The healing, although, is not that high, but the fight could get easier to manage if you destroy it before it reaches him, so it doesn't heal him also. and the orb is also easily destroyed as it doesn't have that much health points. From time to time, High King Lord Rylith will also target a random player and shoot a blue bolt. While the knockback of this bolt doesn't do much damage itself, it can get lethal if the targeted player gets knocked into one of the flame pools if they are active. Alright, that's pretty much all there is to say for the normal version of the Banished Cells dungeon. Once Rylith is defeated, you can watch a story sequence with NPCs trying to ban him, which ultimately leads into the story of the veteran version of Banished Cells later on. I hope this guide was helpful, and if so, please consider to like this video and or leave a comment. Be sure to also check out our other guides for ESO group dungeons. Our goal is to have a guide for every one of them over time, so stay tuned. Take care and bye bye.